James, that reverse fixture, let's go back to that. 4-1 to Chelsea. It was Romero, Udogie both sent off in that. How much did that actually prove to be a bit of a turning point for Tottenham's season?
Yeah, and on top of that, you'll remember James Maddison and Mickey van der Ven suffered big injuries in that game too. And it came off the back of a stunning start to the season under Ange Postecoglou. They won 8 of their opening 10 matches. They only dropped points twice. Draws against Brentford on the opening day. That was just 48 hours after Harry Kane had left, and also away in the North London derby. And there was some talk at that stage, after 10 games, about Tottenham potentially challenging for the title, averaging 2.6 points per game. But injuries, suspensions, international call-ups and a stop-start campaign have certainly played a part in what has followed. We can see what has happened since November. Spurs have nearly lost as many games as they've won, averaging more than a point a game less than they did in those opening 10 matches. So they'll need to boost that ratio, at currently 1.48 per game, significantly if they're to achieve Champions League qualification, which would definitely mark a successful end to Ange Postecoglou's first season in charge.
There was such optimism, wasn't there, amongst Spurs fans at the start of the season. They were singing about Ange and all of that. That Chelsea game, was it the turning point? Has their season petered out, or is this actually, even despite the disappointment, a good season for Tottenham, considering where they are in the league?
Definitely. I think it's been a superb first season for Ange Postecoglou, if I'm totally honest. And I think that dip was always going to come. I don't think that form at the start of the season was necessarily representative of exactly where that side was. You know, you had Heung-min on fire in front of goal. James Maddison was firing on all cylinders as well. The fullbacks were in excellent form. Vicario was in excellent form in goal. But I think they were slightly overperforming. And given they finished on 60 points last year, finished 8th, they're now 5th on 60 points with 5 games to go. I think they've done a lot better than most people would have given them at the start of the season. I mean, if they do win their remaining 5 games, which is unlikely because they've got Liverpool, Chelsea and Man City to come up, as well as Burnley, who are fighting for survival. If they did win those, though, they would be on 75 points, which would be their 3rd highest tally in Premier League history. I think Pochettino, the only manager to be able to better that. So yeah, I think it's been an excellent season for them, especially given the amount of turnover. Obviously, losing their greatest Premier League goal scorer in Harry Kane in the summer, bringing in so many new faces across the team. You know, new faces in midfield, new faces in attack, new faces in defence. So yeah, I think it has been a really successful season for them.
Yeah, James, you mentioned James Maddison picking up that injury in the game. He started so well. Is there a sense that he hasn't actually quite refound that form yet?
Yeah, he really did make an instant impact when he joined from Leicester City last summer, so much so that he won the Premier League Player of the Month award for August. He scored 3 goals, laid on 5 assists, playing a huge role in putting Spurs at the top of the Premier League table. But since James Maddison has returned in January, he's struggled to hit the same heights. Just 1 goal, 2 assists, and he's now without a goal or an assist his last 6 games. And what is worrying, he's been taken off in Spurs' last 9 matches. His season seems to be petering out, but Spurs need him to deliver to end this first season under Ange Postecoglou, which has brought so much enthusiasm at the start, with something to hold on to heading into next season, preferably in the form of Champions League football.
How much does Spurs miss his creativity? Is there a feeling as well that he seemed to be nailed on to go to the Euros? Is that in jeopardy now?
I think any side would miss his creativity, really, but he's not the only creator in that side, I would say. You know, Son, Brennan Johnson, Pedro Porro, Kulusevski, they're all capable of creating. I mean, Kulusevski, for example, is probably underrated as a creator. You know, in terms of open play chances per 90 minutes, he is actually creating more chances than Maddison this season. I think Spurs were arguably better when he moved into the number 10 position against Arsenal after Maddison went off. So I don't think they're completely reliant on him for creativity. But at the same time, he is, of course, a key player. And I think they miss his goal threat as well. You know, he hasn't been bringing that goal threat. This is a guy who reached double figures for goals in the last 2 seasons he had with Leicester. You know, he's usually a reliable scorer, and maybe Spurs haven't seen quite enough of that lately. In terms of the Euros, I mean, I think he is pretty safe for me, especially with the squads potentially, you know, going up to 26 players. I think he should be safe. Whether he gets much action at the tournament is another question, but I expect he'll still be in there, I would have thought.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the dilemma that Southgate has is that if you do take Maddison and you also take, as you'd probably expect, Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Bowen, Gordon, Bellingham, Rashford, then there's 7 players going for 3 positions. Palmer and Foden especially can comfortably play across all 3. So, yeah, I agree with Nick. I think it will be tough to see Maddison actually starting any games or getting much game time at the Euros. But yeah, I think his late season form is a little bit of a cause for concern.